What's going on, y'all? Big Rex Rush, and I'm here today to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. And if you want to hear some of my thoughts and opinions on some of the BS controversies surrounding this game and why some people are refusing to play this game because it's just too woke, be sure to check out my last video. But today, we're here to talk about what is really important, which is how was the actual game. So I'm going to give my first thoughts and impressions. It's not going to be a full-blown review. But before we go ahead and get into the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I really appreciate y'all for supporting me. I'm almost at 600 subscribers. Let's go ahead and get it up to 600. And thank you to everybody for, liking this video and subscribing. I really appreciate y'all. But let's go ahead and talk about the first thing that you see when you boot up the game, which are the graphics. This game is visually stunning. It might be the best looking game of 2025. Even though it's the early part of the year, I think it's safe to say this is the best game of 2025 so far. I mean, this game is gorgeous. Everything from the way Naoe's hair kind of flows, Yasuke's dreads, like the detail in the armor and weapon pieces, the way the colors and the environments change during the different seasons, the castles, the lighting, everything about this game is just absolutely gorgeous to watch. Now, from a technical standpoint, I'm just gonna give y'all like my build of my PC. I have an RTX 3060 Ti with 8 gigabytes of video RAM. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I have an AMD Ryzen 5700X 8-core processor. So it's safe to say I have a pretty mid to high tier PC. I'm able to run most games at high settings with at least 70 to 80 FPS. I don't need, crazy high 100 plus FPS. As long as I have 60 FPS plus, I'm fine. Now, the technical issues that I was facing when I was trying to play this game initially was I was struggling to hit 40 to 50 FPS, even on medium settings. But when I turned frame generation on, that's when I had, 70 to 80 plus FPS like consistently. So once I turned that on, the game ran buttery smooth, had no issues, and I'm averaging around 70 plus FPS with like 60 FPS, like 1% lows. So a lot of the nerd stuff out the way, but pretty much I say all that to say the game is well optimized. Just make sure you have an NVIDIA card, you have a 3060 Ti, a mid to high tier card. Make sure you turn that frame generation on, and it will definitely help your performance. But yeah, the game is visually stunning. It looks great. The textures, the enemies, the world, everything looks good, and it runs really well. So it's a check in, the graphics department for me. Now, for what I think is the most important part when talking about any game, how is the actual gameplay like? And it's safe to say that this isn't like a total overhaul of like some of the RPG Assassin's Creed we've gotten in the past couple years, but it's a more polished and refined Assassin's Creed experience. The main thing about the combat that I appreciate is kind of how the enemies attack. So the way that Ubisoft kind of changed the way enemies approach you to give you kind of a better idea of how to approach them is by giving you like a better indication of how they're going to attack. And what I mean by that, there's like different flashes of the enemy weapon. So if it's just a normal attack that you kind of just block, parry, or just get out the way, their weapon will just flash like white. If the enemy's weapon flashes blue, then you know they're about to do a combo, meaning you have to block, parry, or dodge in succession until the combo is finished. And of course, this is nothing new. If the enemy's weapon flashes red, that lets you know you can't block it. You have to dodge or get out the way. So I really like this because it gives you a better idea of what your enemy is about to do. And it gives you a better idea of like, should I dodge? Should I block? Should I try to parry? And then once you end up parrying them or perfect dodging or parrying all the attacks in succession, it puts your enemy in a vulnerable state, allowing you to open up a combo. And one thing that I also did notice that enemies, even once you, finish staggering them, enemies won't wait around for you to, just do a combo on another enemy. They will attack you right away. So it forces you to like really be on point with the parrying. And I will say the parrying window is pretty forgiving. It's not anything hard like Sekiro or Elden Ring where you have to be like perfect to actually parry the enemy's weapon attack. So it's pretty forgiving, but I like the different indicators. Now, as far as like how Naoe and Yasuke play, they play completely different. I personally love playing as Naoe. Naoe is the traditional Assassin's Creed. She's very fast, she's agile. I also love the way she always flips down when you're descending from a building or climbing. His little montage will show you guys what I'm talking about. But yeah, Naoe is super fun to play, and she's really squishy too. So the game puts a more emphasis on stealth with her, obviously because she is the assassin character, and she can hold her own during combat with a pretty significant amount of enemies, but she can't take too many hits, which encourages you to first, take out as many enemies as you can stealthily, and then engage if you have to. So it's important to be as stealthily as possible as her, but she can hold her own in combat. Yasuke is a completely different story. He's a lot bigger. It's also harder for him to climb things. Some things he legit will not be able to climb. And I think this is, Ubisoft's way of telling you, yo, Yasuke is a tank. Just rush in there, attack people, and he's meant to be like the brute force type, character to play as. Face enemies head on. You feel the weight when he walks. He's heavier. He can't dodge roll or sprint as fast as Naoe. So you're not going to be running away or climbing away. You're going to be facing your enemies head on. And he still has some stealth options. He can still go prone. He can still crouch. Another thing that I like that they did with the combat is they kind of reduced the amount of weapons available to each character. So in previous Assassin's Creed, you typically have like a wide variety of weapons like swords, axes, heavy weapons, long like spears, all that, and they decided to decrease the amount of that and just give Naoe and Yasuke 3 unique weapons each. Now when I first saw this, I was a little bit disappointed because I was like, damn, we only get 3 weapons. Like there used to be like at least like 10 different weapons, just a much bigger variety of weapons than previous Assassin's Creed games. But in this one, the reason why I wasn't so disappointed was that each weapon has their own unique skill tree. Even though it's only 3 weapons for each one, for each Naoe and Yasuke, each weapon has their own skill tree, allowing you to specialize in different abilities, damage, and just certain bonuses that you would get by specializing in that particular weapon. And I absolutely love it. Right now, my favorite weapon is the Kirisagama. I really like it for Naoe because it's really good for crowd control because it has a wide range of attack, and it has some pretty fire abilities and takedown animations. And the 3 weapons that Naoe have are the katana, the Kirisagama, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, and then the tanto, which are like these short knives. And then Yasuke has this big club weapon, a long katana, and also has this kind of spear type weapon. They each have their own skill trees. And again, even though it's less variety of weapons, this allows for like completely like very different approaches to combat and how the weapons actually feel. Even though initially I kind of wanted like as many weapons as possible, I do appreciate this approach because it allows you to have like different abilities based on the different weapons that you're holding. So this was another like addition to the game that I really did like. And then the last thing, which is the story. So I'm gonna do my best to kind of go over the story without spoiling too much, but the game starts you off as Yasuke. You're kind of going through Naoe's village as a samurai for Nobunaga. Then you switch to Naoe for the majority of the first act, and then the way the first act ends, it kind of brings Yasuke and Naoe together in like an epic way. Now I'm warning you, this is going to be a little bit of spoilers what's on the screen, so look away or just have this video playing in the background. But the way they connected Yasuke and Naoe in the first act, it wasn't anything revolutionary, but it was just such a hype moment in the game. And it's been a long time since the game got me to kind of jump out of my seat and be like, oh my gosh, this shit is fire. When I was playing it, like it was such an epic way to bring Yasuke and Naoe. And sort of the themes that I'm kind of getting from the story so far is Naoe, like pretty much any Assassin's Creed game, Naoe is on a quest for revenge and also upholding a promise to her family. And Yasuke is kind of on the same thing as revenge for his master, or the person he served as a samurai, but he's also on a journey of like self-discovery. Before Japan, he was a slave, kind of going anywhere that his masters went. And then even though he did end up becoming a samurai in Japan, you know, he's still trying to figure out his own purpose and what he wants to do. It's like a self-discovery type story. And I kind of like that depth that they added to his character. And it's not that Naoe's story isn't interesting or I don't feel, you know, as connected, but I like the approach where it's not just straight vengeance with, you know, Yasuke. He's really trying to discover who he is and kind of find his place in the world. Whereas Naoe's kind of already established. She knows exactly where she's from. She knows her family's traditions. She knows all that. And she's trying to kind of explore the mystery of the assassins and, you know, what legacy her father left behind. But for the most part, like, she knows who she is. So I like that little like difference between not only the gameplay, but like each like character's own unique journey throughout this game so far. The only critiques that I'd have on the story is just that I think Yasuke's voice acting is way better than Naoe's. And it's not to say that Naoe's is bad. The biggest issue I noticed with Naoe's voice acting and kind of some of the other characters in the game is that Naoe's voice doesn't always match like her facial expressions. They kind of seem like just like a half a second late or just kind of off. And even some of the side characters just kind of sound better and their voices kind of match up with their expressions a little bit better than Naoe's. But it's not to say that she's bad. I just feel like they could have done better. But Yasuke's voice acting is absolutely awesome. And I just wish that Naoe's like kind of facial animations were a little bit smoothing. And this could be a nitpicking, but that's kind of like the only kind of issue I noticed. Actually, no, I lied. There's another issue that I noticed. There is this weird kind of, I don't know why they did this, but they decided to lower the frame rate to just 30 FPS in cutscenes in the game, which I don't know why they did that. It's very noticeable, especially if you're playing on PC and you're playing this game at, you know, 70 plus or 60 plus FPS, and then you get into a cutscene and the game is like a lot slower. I get what they're going for, 30 FPS, the black bars, the cinematic stuff, you know, the cinematic type of, you know, atmosphere you're trying to create, but you can still do the black bars and kind of give that cinematic look whenever you enter a cutscene. But at the same time, there's no reason why the FPS should drop. But I'm enjoying the story so far, even though I think I'm about like 15 hours in the game. I might have a little bit more. Whatever I put up on the screen is going to tell y'all whether I'm lying or not, but I definitely have at least 15 hours on the game and I'm enjoying it. I'm having so much fun with it. I'm not only enjoying this game because I'm personally enjoying it, but it's just fun to see, you know, the anti-woke people just complain and, you know, throw a temper tantrum because they're mad that a game is doing well. I don't know. It just makes the game that much more enjoyable. But even besides all that, you know, culture war BS stuff, I'm really enjoying this game. It's fun. It runs well. It looks gorgeous, and it's just a joy to play. And I'm just glad that Ubisoft finally got this right, because if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, you know that people have been asking for Assassin's Creed Japan for like damn near 2 decades at this point, bro. It's been almost, it's been what? The first Assassin's Creed came out in like the late 2010, like around 2000, that era, but it's finally here. Japan has done it right. It looks gorgeous. I personally like playing as Naoe. Her gameplay just feels way better to me. I love you know what I'm saying? I like the ability to be able to parkour, whereas, you know, Yasuke can't really climb stuff. I like the Kurisigama. That's like my favorite weapon in the game so far. I really like the crowd control. I also like the brutal takedown animations that they have with that weapon, or that Naoe has with that weapon. But yeah, I'm enjoying the game so far. And I don't plan on doing like a full-blown review. Again, this is my first impressions, but already I think this game is worth like, you know, $70. I don't typically do like a rating scale 1 to 10. I just rate games kind of, or give recommendations on games based on whether or not I think you should buy it at full price. I definitely think it's worth $70, but I'm not gonna knock you if you're gonna wait for this game to inevitably go on sale, because Ubisoft does do a lot of sales for these Assassin's Creed games. But yeah, I think it is absolutely worth the full price, $70. This is like the second game I've ever pre-ordered, and I don't feel the need to refund it. Never felt the need to refund it. It runs smoothly. I haven't seen anybody complain about too many issues on console or on PC. And yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with this game so far. It's fun, it's engaging. There's a bunch of different side activities and stuff to do outside of, you know, raiding bases and story missions. There's people you can help. There's a whole base that you have that you can build stuff in and all that. And I'm really enjoying my time with the game so far. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you made it this far to the end of the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I appreciate y'all for watching my video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.